Thank you, folks. With the three names, Sam High is how I qualified as a doc. And I qualified as a doc in 1967, right in the middle of all that madness that was brewing up. And I wanted to be part of madness. But I got a house job. And in a house job, you're in hospital. In fact, in those days, I spoke to somebody outside there and said, oh, you should tell the National Health now, that's the way to sort out all the waiting lists. Because it's one of those, well, in my day. It was, as I tell you this, I kind of can't believe it, but I know it's true. The rota you would have is you would check in Monday morning, you were then in hospital 24 hours a day till Friday afternoon of the following week. So you're on for 12 days, solid, 24 hours a day, and then you had 2 days off. The day off was Friday. UFO was on a Friday. So I kind of come out of hospital, and I was living in Soho at the time, and would throw as much acid I could down my throat, and went off to UFO and kind of cleansed my brain of the madness that I'd been through for the previous 12 days. So I'd had this sort of 2 days of cleansing madness of its own kind to be able to cope with the madness of 12 days, 24 hours a day. I actually wrote it a bit because living in Soho, I was a child of the times. UFO was started by Hoppy and by Boyle together. And my old friend, the man I smoked my first joint with, is a man called Pete Jenner, who was a really great man, went into management, he became my manager. At that time, when I was going in and out of hospital, he was manager of Pink Floyd. So later, as I became a rock and roll doctor, Pink Floyd were my first rock and rollers that I looked after. So I got to know the Floyd well, and Pete and I were old friends from school. So you'll see a lot of Pete Jenner, and he's very good, he's very articulate, and a very good man. I know I'm about to say that because he's my mate. So what Malcolm has asked me to do is this song, Which Dreamed It. At that time, when I was writing songs, I was writing terrible lyrics. And I loved Lewis Carroll. And Lewis Carroll, if you think about it, very, in himself, very psychedelic, very much expanding. And a lot of his poems really fitted in to the zeitgeist of what we were all going through. Because I couldn't write with lyrics, I took all these Lewis Carroll poems, Lock, Stock and Barrel, and put them to music. We did a single of Jabberwock with this song I'm going to do for you on the backside. And it was produced by a man called Tony Visconti. And Tony Visconti was David Bowie's and T-Rex's producer. And it turns out that this little single I made has become one of the top 100 psychedelic singles of all time. So look, let's do this, because I haven't been as nervous as this for 50 years. I was lucky enough once to do the Sid Little and Large show on telly, and Sid Little saw this guitar And he said, "Oh, Hank, that's good. Did you have it made special?" I thought, "Oh, thank you, God." I said, "No, actually I went into the shop, I heard they had some Hank Manford guitars selling. And I asked the geezer, and he said, "Oh no, we've had a big run on them, we were all sold out. Now hold on, I'll go in the back, see if they're any." And he went in the back, and this was the last one. And I swear my silly little said, "Oh, that will look you, Hank." Okay, well look, we'll try and see what we can do for you. And especially for Mark. Get the picture. When I recorded this, I was playing sitar. And I had some Indian friends playing tabla and flute, so you have to imagine those against the background of my terrible guitar playing. I'm thinking of you for a lovely cleansing Friday night. Above beneath the sunny sky, lingering on the dreamy leaf, in an evening of July, in an evening of July. And in the wonderland they lie, they're dreaming as the days go by, dreaming as the summers die, dreaming as the summers die. Long has been that sunny sky, echoes fade and memories die. Autumn frosts slip July, but still she haunts me phantom-wise, beside this moving under skies, never seen by waking eyes, never seen by waking eyes.
the film. And I just wanted really to ask each of you in turn, first of all, to tell us your favourite memory of Hoppy. So, should we start with you, Greg?
Well, one of my most engraved memories of Hoppy was having catered Hoppy to the Green Peach's wedding. During my macro-neurotic days before I sort of broke into a more open relationship with my dad. And I made a wedding cake for him. Well, I didn't use sugar or cream or anything like that. It was 2 long round loaves of heavy unleavened bread, no sweetening, and something that looked like icing made out of tahini and beetroot juice. And one thing I'll never forget is everywhere I looked in the room, there was a little dish. There was a piece of my wedding cake with 1 bite removed from it. It was strewn across the place. And there was I learned a lesson there. But I was also just tremendously grateful to him for introducing me to psychedelic trance parties, rock around parties in the 90s. And I feel like somebody who got to see Hilly's Coffee twice, because I've heard from the 60s and the 90s, and they were both extremely enjoyable. And Hoppy's played a huge part in making that possible.
Fantastic. So Craig, your favourite memory of Hoppy?
I knew him from the All Saints Hall days, and I was selling macrobiotic books in Miles's bookshop in Indica Books, and
Macrobiotic books?
Zen Macrobiotics, the Macrobiotic Guide for Living, Zen Cookery. I imported them from the States. Miles sold them in the bookshop, and Hoppy said, "Why don't you do the food at the UFO Club?" So actually, what we had tonight, the falafel and the brown rice whistles, were sort of apologies on, but much better than the ones my mother made, which I took to the UFO Club. And funnily enough, I was at the Hay Festival last year. Joe Boyle had no idea about what was going on with the food, but that's by the by. So yeah, that was, and then when I opened the restaurant on Camden Hill Road in February of '67, I'd had 7 weeks of the food at the UFO Club. So there was a cohort of people who knew what brown rice was, who came, and they were the core clientele for the restaurant, including Yoko Ono, who had worked at the Paradox restaurant in New York, which is where I'd had that moment of, I want to do this in London feeling. And so it was, but Hoppy really, without that invitation, would have been much harder to take off.
Thank you. And Mike, Mr. Psychedelic Posters, who Mike designed the poster for today. Tell us about your favourite memory of Hoppy.
My favourite memory is pretty much lasted 1 year. I can't believe the fact that I first was introduced to Hoppy through George Clark. It was a fundamental CFG. There's a lot of community action going on in Notting Hill days. And in early '66 is when I met him. And June 1st, 1967, he was in prison. That was it. That was 1 year of fast, amazing events and activities. This documentary is just about to sum that up. It was just so much packed. And at the time, I had just left college, and I was 20, and the world just span for a year. And I'm still living in that spin now. So that was me, and that was Hoppy, 1 year, amazing year. Sounds like a love. Yeah.
He had that effect on people.
Yeah. But it's one of those wonderful chances of meeting a remarkable person, and when you're very young, and it stayed with you for the rest of your life. It has been.
Thank you. Miles, because you started IT together, didn't you? Both of you.
Well, I knew him from 1960 to the last time I saw him was the day before he died. So I was the best man at his wedding. What can I say really? I think the great thing was he showed me that it was possible to actually live as a person. Is it oh, sorry. Is it on? Okay. I think that my best memory was when I was sharing a flat with Hoppy at 102 Westbourne Terrace back in about 63. One day he decided that what he would really like was a banquet, and we got some trussel tables and invited maybe 40 people, I think, and there were pre-rolled joints all down the centre of this table here. But the main thing was Hoppy wanted to have food so he could suck on the bones and then throw them over his shoulder. And so the whole meal consisted of ribs and drumsticks and stuff like that. And we all got very stoned, of course, but the place was a complete mess afterwards. In the end, we just all crashed and woke up around midday the next day and it was a complete mess. But we sure had fun. But I think the thing with Hoppy was we did so many different projects together. I can't really pinpoint a particular one. He was just a really important part of my life. And when I did a book called In the 60s, I dedicated it to him. And he was just a mentor to me. Because he was about 8 years older than me, I guess. And well, I really miss him even now.
Thank you, Miles. Vanessa.
Yeah. Well, I never met Hoppy personally, but Michael Horowitz, with whom I shared 11 years of my life, told me all about everything, including Hopkins. Yeah. So I had the privilege to meet Michael, and for me, it was a soulmate and an opener as well of, again, probably my favorite word now is everything. My mother used to say to me that I was born out of time, probably. Oh, she was right. She was right. So I want to use this moment to say thank you to Malcolm and to Carl Stickley and et al. I didn't have the chance to say thank you before and was missing. Thank you for inviting me and sort of to be part of this fantastic event.
Yeah, well, I will just say a very brief memory of Hoppy, but I really just want to thank everyone for coming here tonight, and to thank Carl, and to thank Carney, and Nicole, and all the people who've worked on this film, and Robin, who's worked on the uprest. But the thing, what began this journey with Hoppy for me, the first time I met him, I did a one-man show about Sir Barrett, and I'd done sort of some primary research, meeting some of the original people. And I decided it would be good off the back of that to do an event celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Falls in the Technicolor Dream. And so I rang up Hoppy, who at the time, basically, there wasn't a big deal about psychedelia in London at the time, or those days. So when I rang him and found the number in the book, and I started saying what I was intending to do, he just started going, This is literally what he said, he said, you better come round. And then when he came round, he just said, he greeted me with what I can only describe as a recognition. And I think, I have a thing of old souls, and I felt at that moment that I was destined to tell the story. I believe we're almost out of time now, so I just want to, Lucy, you can finish up. I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming out tonight and celebrating. Thank you very much.